The Rainier Roller Girls in the red and black are 12, Betty Ford Galaxy, 123, Bad Catitude, 138, Gunner Hands Off, 18 is Bulldog Nation, 1964, Ponyboy Hurtis, 210 is Rock and Rolla, 26 Cylinders is Charlie Horsepower, 30 is Tina Fatal, 334 is Red Bulldozer, 360 is Shock Stopper, 44 is Chick Eastwood, 6 is Holly Bush, D20 is Damsel of Doom, and 25 Voodoo Lady Goo Goo. They are coached by Quadzilla. Here we go. Bulldog, take us in.
Just under the wire. Nice work, LeGrand Mort. Jamming for Rodeo City in the purple is Warpaint Wendy.
She's up against
Ponyboy Hurtis jamming for Rainier Valley. She is lead. Warpaint Wendy is lead jammer into the pack on the outside. Ooh, nice. Charlie Horsepower trying to catch her, but only gets a glancing blow with the shoulder. Ponyboy Hurtis through the pack for Rainier Valley, completing her initial pass, but a full lap behind. Actually, almost 2 laps behind Warpaint Wendy. Warpaint Wendy bursts through the pack, narrowly getting past number 360 Shock Stopper. Gets 4 more points, 9 points total, but Ponyboy Hurtis puts in the effort, gets 4 points for Rainier Valley.
I guarantee you, Bulldog, we are going to see more of those 2 jammers here tonight. 2 go-to jammers for these 2 teams.
Repercussion, number N30, jamming for Rodeo City against Damsel of Doom for Rainier Valley. Damsel of Doom up to the front. Allison stumbles trying to catch her. Lady Colt can't reel her back in. Damsel of Doom for Rainier Valley is lead jammer. But Repercussion of Rodeo City out of the pack as well. Damsel of Doom of Rainier Valley runs into the elbow of Lady Colt. That is I believe that is a multiplayer block being called on Lady Colt. Damsel of Doom, though, has to recycle way back, so now Repercussion is in the forward position. But lead jammer is Damsel of Doom of Rainier Valley. She's going to call off the jam as she completes her pass. Repercussion already got 4, and those 4 matched by Damsel of Doom, so a 4-4 jam.
Rainier Roller Girls have really come up in the past few years. They've gotten very strong, very tight as a team, and you're going to see a lot of surprises, I think, from the Rainier Roller Girls for this particular game.
Scarlet Revolver jamming for Rodeo City against Red Bulldozer of Rainier Valley. A 4-on-3 pack advantage for Rainier Valley. Red Bulldozer gets to the front. Demolition Dovey, the pivot for Rodeo City, trying to hold her back, but Red Bulldozer of Rainier Valley is lead jammer.
Red Bulldozer has just started to jam in these past few weeks, and she's been extremely effective, picking up tons of points for her team and making opportunities like she's doing right now in turn 4. Rainier Roller Girls, 5 high in the sky.
Pass through the Rodeo City defense like a sieve. 5 points, a grand slam for Rainier Valley, and there she gets into the pack to do it again. Scarlet Revolver at the back of the pack. It looks like she's making a decision. She puts the panty cover back on her head, but still on her initial pass, getting frustrated by a tough Rainier Valley defense. Red Bulldozer having her way with the pack. 2 scoring passes, 2 grand slams. Rodeo City losing their pivot. Demolition Dovey, so it's a 4-on-3 pack advantage for Rainier Valley again as Red Bulldozer gets past Lady Colt of Rodeo City. 5 more points for Rainier Valley. There she goes a 4th time, Red Bulldozer. 5 more, 20 points so far for Rainier Valley. Scarlet Revolver now looking almost despondent, unable to find any chink in the armor of Rainier Valley. Charlie Horsepower knocking her down with a hip check. And now gets sandwiched between Shockstopper and Charlie Horsepower. Does not even complete her initial pass, so no points for Rodeo City. 24 points for Rainier Valley.
That was a tough defense by Rainier Roller Girls right there, especially Holly Bush, 6% alcohol by volume. Doing a great job there in the back of the pack.
Okay. That's weird. I've always called them Rainier. In fact, I thought I had a shirt that said Rainier Valley.
Bad Catitude breaking out as lead number 123. Not far behind her. That is War Paint Wendy.
It is a 4-on-2 pack in favor of Rainier Roller Girls. No Valley. I've been corrected. I don't know. Why on earth would I think Rainier Valley?
It's such a rare thing, Bulldog. So rare with you.
And Rodeo City losing another skater. Ariel Payne is able to sit down because Demolition Dovey was standing up. So only one blocker on the track as we start the next jam. 2 points, though, picked up by Rodeo City in the previous jam.
Huge opportunity right now. Ponyboy Hurtis, 1964, a very go-to jammer. She's going to be up against Repercussion, but she has blocked right through the daylight on the inside, turn 1, lead jammer.
Ponyboy Hurtis of Rainier Roller Girls is lead jammer. Demolition Dovey returns to the pack, so now Rodeo City has a grand total of 2 blockers. Repercussion has been completely surrounded by red. Rodeo City in the purple, Rainier Roller Girls in the red. Ponyboy Hurtis all just zip through like a blur. 5 points. Repercussion runs into Rock and Rolla Chola. The relentless Rock and Rolla Chola. Ponyboy Hurtis another 5 points. I'll just note that as an addendum. But Repercussion finally completing her initial pass. Rock and Rolla Chola has to give up the ghost as she reaches the end of the engagement zone, or perhaps a spot of mercy at this point. But Ponyboy Hurtis calls off the jam, does not pass any Rodeo City skaters. So no points on that last pass. 10 points total for Rainier Roller Girls. 42-15 right now in favor of Rainier Roller Girls. 23 minutes and 25 seconds left in this first period. Still can go either way, but Rainier starting to get some momentum behind those skates. See you later. Looking for the inside lane. Gunner Buns, a.k.a. Gunner Hands Off. But it says Gunner Buns on her jersey. Almost catches her, but it is Kelsey You Later is lead jammer.
Trouble in Paradise doing a good job dropping Damsel of Doom. Slow her down at the start.
Damsel of Doom almost catches up to Kelsey You Later, but runs into Hula C Nation. Hula C Nation gets a glancing shoulder check, but Damsel of Doom races right by. Almost catching up to the Rodeo City jammer. Matching 4 points on the first scoring pass for each jammer. Now, and they get into the pack. Damsel of Doom just one stride behind. Damsel of Doom gets all 4 points as Kelsey You Later calls it off. Only 3 points for Rodeo City. So Rainier Roller Girls win the jam 8-7.
Nice little self-whip of Damsel of Doom off of Gunner Hands Off shorts there at the end to pull in that extra point at that fourth whistle. Good fourth whistle determination right there. And it's going to be Chick Eastwood and War Paint Wendy for Rainier Roller Girls and Rodeo City respectively. War Paint Wendy looking towards the front, able to get by Holly Bush, brings up that lead jammer.
War Paint Wendy found some afterburners, just raced right through the pack almost effortlessly. Chick Eastwood, not so lucky, had to work for it. And in fact, Rainier Roller Girls have the pack advantage, but still they were unable to get their jammer through until War Paint Wendy has already does not pick up any points.
No, and that was courtesy of a huge shoulder by Charlie Horsepower right there in the back of the pack to shut that down.
And probably a smart thing to do because Rainier Roller Girls jammer was coming right hot on her heels.
Yep. Good strategic play there by both teams. Bad Catitude now up against Repercussion. Bad Catitude sees the daylight on the inside. She's going to pull it out. Lead jammer Repercussion still having a tough time. She's going to be behind Voodoo Lady Goo rather, and Gunner Hands Off.
Voodoo Lady Goo repeated hip checks. I think technically those were hip checks.
Absolutely. A little booty blocking extraordinaire right there. And another one. Voodoo Lady hips do not lie.
But Repercussion stuck behind Betty Ford Galaxy, number 12 of Rainier Roller Girls. And again, Betty Ford Galaxy, this time joined by Voodoo Lady Goo Goo. But Repercussion's unable to make any headway, and now sneaking up the inside lane unnoticed with cat-like grace, you might say. Bad Catitude picks up a grand slam, a third grand slam for Rainier Roller Girls. Repercussion completing her initial pass, making her way into scoring position, but Bad Catitude is going to call off the jam before she can get there. 19 points in this jam for Rainier Roller Girls. Donut for Rodeo City.
Well, what we can see there, right there, Bulldog, is that that kerfluffle, that mess that was made over and over again, not only did it slow down the Rodeo City Roller Girl Jammer, but also it made huge opportunities for Bad Catitude because everybody was looking the way that they shouldn't be when she came through. It's going to be Red Bulldozer up against Warpaint Wendy for Rainier Roller Girls and Rodeo City, respectively. Warpaint Wendy in the purple, the star on her helmet picks up lead jammer. Red Bulldozer still in the back behind. Looks like trouble in Paradise.
And last time Red Bulldozer jammed, this is her second time jamming, and the first time she scored big for Rainier Roller Girls, but that was during a power jam. This time Warpaint Wendy gets through and his lead jammer calls off the jam, securing 4 points for Rodeo City.
And we're going to be taking a time to thank some of our sponsors. We'd like to thank Green Monster. Green Monster Roller Sport is a skate company whose total focus is to produce fresh ideas and innovative product design to the roller skating market, specifically roller derby. We produce some of the best brands known in roller derby, including Antic skate boots, Reckless wheels, Gumball toe stops, Moto bearings, Heartless agility wheels, Astronauts, and Berserk skate wheels. Green Monster maintains a first-hand understanding of the derby industry by being totally submerged in every facet possible, from coaching, playing, reffing, and educating the world all over. This dedication allows Green Monster to set industry trends in the ever-changing sport of roller derby. And the head of Green Monster is coaching Rainier Roller Girls right now, in case you didn't know that piece of trivia, which I think probably everybody does. That is Quadzilla, a skater, coach, and product designer. So sort of a modern-day Renaissance derby man.
An athlete and a scholar.
When we come back, we're going to 500 Kel See Ya Later up against Damsel of Doom D20 for Rodeo and Rainier, respectively. 18 minutes, 54 seconds, 69-26 Rainier leading.
And that was Rodeo City's first time out of 3. Kelsey later running into a 4-wall. All 4 Rainier Roller Girls blockers in the way. Damsel of Doom narrowly avoiding a shoulder from Hula C Nation. She breaks out first and clinches lead jammer. Kelsey later on the inside gets a shoulder check from Bad Catitude. Has to recycle to the back of the pack. Damsel of Doom whips around the outside. Avoids Lady Colton, picks up 5 for Rainier Roller Girls.
And I think that was an interior whip, Bulldog, that we just saw happen in that pack. Gunner Nation's going to head to the box for an out-of-play hit.
Rainier Roller Girls losing 2 blockers. Gunner Buns and Betty Ford Galaxy going to the penalty box. That leaves Bad Catitude and Tina Fatal in the pack for them. Damsel of Doom feeling the heat. Lady Colt holding her back. Damsel of Doom calling it off for 2. And that makes a total of 7.
When we come back, it's going to be Warpaint Wendy, number 27, in the purple for Rodeo City against Ponyboy Hurtis, 1964, in the red and black for Rainier Roller Girls. And big blocker advantage right now for Rodeo City. Could see that Warpaint Wendy able to get out through. Rock and Rolla not able to stop her.
Ponyboy Hurtis, the jammer for Rainier Roller Girls, has to recycle to the back of the pack. Now on her first scoring pass, Warpaint Wendy can't get past Rock and Rolla. Chola gets hip checked out of bounds, recycles back. Rock and Roll Chola again with a shoulder this time. Trouble in Parody is coming around, knocking down Rock and Roll Chola, but she gets back up and in position, giving every single, making every single inch a gauntlet for Warpaint Wendy. Tremendous job by Rock and Roll Chola, but still Rodeo City winning the jam by 5. Okay, good. Nice.
And when we come down, that's Bulldog Nation. She's up against Kelsey later for Rainier and Rodeo City, respectively.
Bulldog Nation quickly picking up lead jammer. Looks like Bad Catitude going to the penalty box just as Gunner Buns is released from there. Betty Ford Galaxy also out of the penalty box, so Bulldog Nation is going to call off the jam. 3 points for Rainier Roller Girls, and nothing for Rodeo City.
1 blocker advantage right now for Rainier. 15 minutes, 36 seconds. 79-31. Rainier leading in what is become a very hard-hitting game. C. Allison, 4 hours, up against Red Bulldozer, 334.
First time jamming for C. Allison. C. Allison immediately running into Shock Stopper and Rock and Roll Up. No longer Chola. But C. Allison very quickly getting lead jammer. Now it's actually a pack advantage to Rainier Roller Girls. Rodeo City down 2 blockers, but Red Bulldozer stuck behind Demolition Dovey finally reaches the end of the engagement zone and gets out. But C. Allison, a wide open inside lane, Trouble in Parodies, and Demolition Dovey screening the entire pack out of the way. A little help from Permafrost as well, number 229 for Rodeo City. But C. Allison ecstatically calling off the jam. That was a very clear calling off the jam gesture. That was 4 points, though, for Rodeo City. And holding Rainier Roller Girls scoreless.
Great work by C. Allison there. She really wanted to make that differential stick, man. She was like, look, this differential needs to stay on our side. Very important for Rodeo City to play it very close to the vest, to play it very much by the book so that they can continue to walk their way back from being behind. This is Damsel of Doom against Warpaint Wendy. Out there, Warpaint Wendy looking to see if she sees a little daylight around Betty Ford Galaxy, but that's sometimes hard to do. Gunner hands off, heads to the box and allows that to happen. Damsel of Doom just about quarter track behind.
Warpaint Wendy with some very aggressive moves to get past the Rainier Roller Girls defense, but Rainier paying the price. They lose 3 blockers for a brief amount of time. But Betty Ford Galaxy, the only blocker on the track. Warpaint Wendy sees Damsel of Doom coming up behind her, frantically calling off the jam. And doesn't do it. No, she doesn't get any points. There was only Betty Ford Galaxy to pass. Betty Ford Galaxy refused to give up the point, but Damsel of Doom was able to get 3 points. So a 3-0 decision for Rainier Roller Girls, even though Rodeo City had the power.
Betty Ford Galaxy doing a great job running it there at the end. I thought that Warpaint Wendy had it, but the referee here saw it exactly. So he was keeping an eye on whether or not she got her hips in front. Did not happen. That is Kelsey later up against Ponyboy Hurtis, 1964. Gets knocked down in turn 2. And
Kelsey later running into Charlie Horsepower and Rock and Rolla, but is able to get away, but does not get lead jammer. Ponyboy Hurtis coming up after her, but does get lead jammer, so the clock in the control of Rainier Roller Girls. Sorry about that.
And looks like Rainier's going to run this Rock and Rolla. And Charlie Horsepower are going to get caught for out of play. That was positional out of play, I do believe. Ponyboy Hurtis keeping it rolling with 4 points of her own.
Both teams getting a really bad number of penalties. The pack very sparse frequently throughout this game. At one point we had a 2-on-1 pack. That was 2 blockers on one team, 1 on the other. Just about 30 seconds ago. Of course, the team seemed to have recovered a little bit. Now it's a 3-on-2 pack.
And let me tell you, the pack is moving about as fast as I have seen a pack move during the Wild West Showdown so far. Both teams effectively running. It's like a skating class out there.
Kelsey later getting several shoulder checks from Shock Stopper, and Rock and Rolla holding her back, giving it her all, but 4 points finally picked up in her first scoring pass for Rodeo City.
Ponyboy Hurtis doing a little jump, got to get around Demolition Dovey, who drops her just right around turn 2, recycled back.
Ponyboy Hurtis on her third scoring pass, gets around Ariel Payne, completes the pass for 4. Kelsey later unable to get into the pack again, so a 12-4 jam for Rainier Roller Girls.
And that was a 2-minute jam by choice, which is something you don't see very, very often, especially in the first period. Absolutely towards the end of the half, especially when you're trying to run the clock down. But interesting strategy being played right now by Rainier.
Well, it also allowed the penalty box to get cleared up a little bit. So now only 1 blocker in the penalty box. That is Gunnar Buns for Rainier Roller Girls. Bad Catitude jamming in the red for Rainier Roller Girls against the number 2, More Mayhem in the purple for Rodeo City. Lead jammer goes to Bad Catitude as she completes her initial pass. More Mayhem struggling to get by Betty Ford Galaxy. Voodoo Lady Gugu also got some shots in, but Betty Ford Galaxy absolutely a stone wall at the front of the pack, and now knocks over More Mayhem. Both skaters going down. Bad Catitude already through the pack, completing her first scoring pass for Rainier. Gets 5 points. And into the pack a second time. Now calling off the jam from a seated position on the infield, and steals 1 more point off the back of the pack. A total of 6 for Rainier, 0 for Rodeo City.
And back at the line, that is Wendy Warpaint Wendy, number 27 for Rodeo City. And for the first time jamming during this game, that is Holly Bush, 6% alcohol by volume. $100, just cracked the century mark, Rainier to 43.
She's also 12 proof.
She's 12 proof.
Technically.
Bulldog is so good with math. And whatever proof she is lead jammer. Warpaint Wendy being held back behind Rock and Roll and Red Bulldozer. Shock Stopper as well. Gets a shoulder, shakes it off. Good job with Warpaint Wendy. But meanwhile, Holly Bush picking up all 4 of her points. Going to call off that jam. Actually, that was 8 points that have been put up on the board. So 108-43. My mistake.
Okay, yeah, so 8 points for Rainier Roller Girls. And now Kelsey later jamming for Rodeo City in the purple. Damsel of Doom up the inside, open inside lane. She spotted it and just zipped through. Just quick burst of acceleration. And the Rainier Roller Girls jammer, it has lead jammer and now hits the pack on a scoring pass. It sees that same inside lane and gets through the same way she got lead jammer. Quick 5 points for Rainier Roller Girls. Kelsey later dealing with Gunnar Buns. Gunnar Buns almost knocked her down, slowed her down a little bit, but Kelsey later forged ahead and completed her initial pass. But here's Damsel of Doom for Rainier on her second scoring pass. Shoulder check out of bounds. So a couple of brutal shoulder checks from Hula C Nation, and she just calls it off before Kelsey later can get in there. 3 more points, total of 8 for Rainier, nothing for Rodeo City.
And back at the line, we haven't seen her in a while. Chick Eastwood, number 44. And she'll be up against More Mayhem, number 2.
Only the second time jamming for both jammers. Little factoid, Docity. Both jammers hit the pack together, shoulder to shoulder, but it is Chick Eastwood finding the opening, gets lead jammer. More mayhem stuck behind Rock and Rolla, Red Bulldozer and Charlie Horsepower finishing out the 3-wall. And now more mayhem getting a penalty. An illegal forearm on the Rodeo City jammer, so it's a power jam for Rainier Roller Girls. Chick Eastwood already with 5 points in her bag or pocket. Depends, it's a fashion statement, really. Some women have bags, some women have pockets.
Absolutely.
I don't think many have both, though.
But what Chick Eastwood is looking for is for all points right now, and she just got them.
Had to work a little bit harder for that second scoring pass, but nevertheless gets through. Got tangled up with Permafrost briefly of Rodeo City, but Chick Eastwood with 10 points already. Now runs into repercussion, and now moving to the outside, Ariel Payne. That was Betty Ford Galaxy. Chick Eastwood stuck behind a 2-wall on the inside.
Repercussion doing some great work in the back. We've seen her play some good offense, but this defensive work that she was doing against Chick Eastwood is among the best. 5 more points for Rainier, 15 points so far for Chick Eastwood in this jam.
And just as Chick Eastwood approaches for her 4th scoring pass, more mayhem is released, completing her penalty. So now both jammers back on the track. But more mayhem, 3 full laps, actually 4 full laps behind Chick Eastwood. The jam called off by Chick Eastwood. She does get that last scoring pass completed, 20 points, and more mayhem unable to complete her initial pass.
So sitting in about 5 minutes and 17 seconds, 136-43. And it looks like we are going to have an official timeout. Gives us a chance to thank some of our sponsors. Flat Track Revolution. Flat Track Revolution is run by Ringer and Slavia Majora out of Oakland, California and Portland, Oregon. Ringer and Slavia are both skaters and total derby freaks and design geeks. Fueled by their 2 passions they created, Flat Track Revolution, to revolutionize derby apparel. Flat Track Revolution is working on changing the face of derby apparel by offering cutting-edge designs that skaters, fans, and people who just like cool stuff will enjoy. Check them out at flattrackrevolution.com.
For some reason, it's going to be excited that we're coming out, so the skiers left the track. They decided to do it. Who gave you the pick to find out? Oh, after I was like, nice to see you. Thanks, Obama.
So what happened there was an official timeout that was just decided by the scoreboard for a moment, which sometimes happens. But then Rainier decided that they actually did want a timeout, so a timeout has been taken by Rainier right now, and that's what's happening.
Scoreboard malfunction. Thanks, Obama.
It gives us a chance to thank DJ Rich Nice. Need a DJ? No, you need an amazing DJ who is guaranteed to bring high energy to your event. Find DJ Rich Nice on Facebook and drop him a line. DJ Rich Nice, the official mix master of Slaughter County Roller Vixens. By the way, we just want to give a shout out to Slaughter County. Such great hosts for this tournament. When we come back, that is Warpaint Wendy up against Bulldog Nation for Rodeo City and Rainier Roller Girls.
So that was an unofficial official timeout. It was decided by the scoreboard that turned into an official team timeout.
Officially, that is our story.
That's right. Warpaint Wendy jamming for Rodeo City, but Bulldog Nation gets around Demolition Dovey, claiming lead jammer for Rainier Roller Girls. Warpaint Wendy knocked down to the infield by Voodoo Lady Gugu, picks herself back up, but gets rather caught up to by Bulldog Nation of Rainier Roller Girls. And this time, Trouble in Paradise almost gets a piece of Bulldog Nation, but it's a grand slam for Rainier Roller Girls. Warpaint Wendy getting around Tina Fatal and Gunnar Buns completing her initial pass, but Bulldog Nation already on her second scoring pass. Runs to Lucy Ballbuster, and Demolition Diva decides to call off the jam. No points on that second scoring pass for Rainier Roller Girls. So total of 5 for Rainier, 0 for Rodeo City.
For those of you who are not paying attention, it is about 4 minutes left in this first period. 141 Rainier, 43 Rodeo City. Both teams have been pretty penalty heavy, actually, throughout this, so I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see some penalty foul outs in the second period. As Hula C Nation up against Ponyboy Hurtis, both wearing blue streak roller skates. You can tell by that white stripe on the back.
And a completely encircled Ponyboy Hurtis gets knocked down, but then gets a cutting the track. She got knocked out of bounds by that encirclement, is that a word, of Rodeo City.
Hula C Nation answers that cut with a cut of her own. She just skated out and then skated back in.
So we will have a jammer swap. I think the first one of the game, actually.
Absolutely.
Ponyboy Hurtis released as soon as Hula C Nation sits down. Hula C Nation will serve about 20 seconds or so of penalty. But Ponyboy Hurtis was on her initial pass and very quickly gets through the pack.
This jam will go for the full 2 minutes. Not by choice this time,
but by law. Ponyboy Hurtis on her first scoring pass. Gets knocked out of bounds by repercussion. Recycles carefully this time. Doesn't want a repeat of that cutting the track incident. Lady Colt trying to draw the cut, but Ponyboy Hurtis saw her and does get the cut. Okay. I thought it was a cut too, but hadn't seen the penalty, but there goes Ponyboy Hurtis back to the penalty box. So this time it is a power jam for Hula C Nation, and gets 5 more points on her second scoring pass. 10 points so far for Rodeo City. Charlie Horsepower instantly with a hip check. Hula C Nation this time drives ahead and just counters the hip check from Charlie Horsepower and forces her way through. 5 more points, 15 total for Rodeo City. Hula C Nation this time opting to back into the pack on her 4th scoring pass. Completes the pass and another grand slam. 20 points total for Rodeo City on the power jam, and Ponyboy Hurtis still in the penalty box.
And that Rodeo City adding a good percentage to their score. The biggest jam that they had tonight, 20 points to Rainier's 1, 63-142. That's the kind of momentum. If you're a fan of Rodeo City, make some noise!
Kelsey you later jamming this time for Rodeo City. Absorbs a shoulder check from Voodoo Lady Gugu and drives around Betty Ford Galaxy to complete her initial pass. Lead jammer goes to Rodeo City. Pack at a standstill in turn 3. And a burst of speed around the inside lane. Betty Ford Galaxy can't get there in time. Kelsey later of Rodeo City picking up a grand slam. Kelsey later trying to leap across the infield, but Voodoo Lady Gugu catches her and sends her to the ground. The jam is called off, though, and a 3rd time in a row, Ponyboy Hurtis, the jammer for Rainier Roller Girls, sent to the penalty box, and again for cutting.
And it looks like Quadzilla in the center. Time is ticking down. We'll see what happens here. Looks like we are going to get another jam off. Warpaint Wendy, 27.
Just enough time. There were 33 seconds on the clock when the last jam ended. So 3 seconds when this jam started. Warpaint Wendy is the lead jammer, having completed her initial pass. And now a leap across the infield, this time sliding through.
But importantly, she did land on her wheels first.
Before she hit the ground.
Before she hit the ground, so those points are valid.
Warpaint Wendy careening into the pack a second time and gets a second grand slam for Rodeo City. Red Bulldozer back in action. She was out of the penalty box. So now 3 blockers on the track for Rainier Roller Girls in this power kill. Warpaint Wendy knocked to the ground by Rock and Rolla, but Rock and Rolla sent to the penalty box, which is where she will be at the start of the next half.
Rock and Rolla able to get her out of bounds, but got picked up a blocking out of bounds, so went out of bounds a little bit too much. That is the end of the first period. Looks like Rainier Roller Girls 142, Rodeo City doing a great push at the end of this first period, 87. I want to remind you that the after party tonight, after the last bout, will be at Sticks and Stones Billiard Hall. It's an all-ages event, so any juniors that want to join in the fun are welcome to attend. That is Sticks and Stones Billiard Hall at 2817 Wheaton Way, here on the lovely island of Bremerton. I'm LeGrand Mort, and this is Bulldog, and we will be back in the second half in just about 9 minutes.
All right, I'm going to bring it in.
And very soon, in just about 1 minute and 30 seconds, we will be back with this game, exciting game between the Rodeo City Roller Girls and the Rainier Roller Girls. Just want to get the rosters out again for those on the live feed right now. And thank you so much for those on the live feed. A special shout out to Maine Roller Derby that is watching on the live feed from Gunner Hands Off, Aya, 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 Giddy Up, Rip It Up. That's from Gunner Hands Off to Maine Roller Derby. And the Rodeo City Roller Girls are number 1, Ariel Payne. Number 13, Lucy Ballbuster. Number 2, More Mayhem. Number 229, Permafrost. 27 is Warpaint Wendy. 313 is Trouble in Paradise. 33 is Demolition Dovey. 38 is Scarlet Revolver. 4 is C. Allison. 45 is Lady Colt. 500 is Kelsey Later. 8 is Hula C Nation. 98 is Rory Shock Test. And N30 is Repercussion. They are coached by Rude D and Professor Payne. The Rainier Roller Girls are 12, Betty Ford Galaxy. 123, Bad Catitude. 138, Gunner Hands Off. 18 is Bulldog Nation. 1964, Ponyboy Hurtis. 210 is Rock and Rolla. 26 cylinders is Charlie Horsepower. 30 is Tina Fatal. 334 is Red Bulldozer. 360 is Shock Stop Her. 44 is Chick Eastwood. 6% alcohol by volume. That has to be Holly Bush. D20, Damsel of Doom, and 25, Voodoo Lady Gugu. They are coached by Quadzilla, and we are just about ready, Bulldog, to get back into the second period. Huge lead established by Rainier Roller Girls in this first period, and then taken away almost at least half of that lead by Rodeo City in the last couple of jams, with Ponyboy Hurtis having a tough time getting out of that penalty box.
Oh, exactly right. Rodeo City coming on strong in the last 3 jams of the first half, but that was mostly courtesy of Ponyboy Hurtis' 3 cutting the track penalties in a row, including in the last jam, where she still remains as the second period begins. Hula C Nation jamming for Rodeo City in the purple, Rainier Roller Girls in the red. Of course, Red Bulldozer digging that shoulder in, but Hula C Nation fighting forward. Gunner Buns, formerly of Maine Roller Derby, yeah, rip it up, get it up, and all that. I really don't know.
Yeah, giddy up, rip it up.
I'll have to work on that. But she says hi. Ponyboy Hurtis out of the penalty box and quickly completing her initial pass. Hula C Nation on a scoring pass, runs into Gunner Buns and Red Bulldozer at the front of the pack, but gets a penalty, an illegal elbow, and now it's a power jam for Ponyboy Hurtis. I bet she's relieved to hear that. She gave up 3 power jams, but now she gets one of her own. So grand slam for her. Hula C Nation already had 5. She was on a scoring pass,
The universe
Boy-
will find a way to balance itself out of this, all that yin yang stuff, you know, Bulldog.
Ponyboy Hurtis getting through a second time, so weaving straight up the center of the pack that time. Now comes in a third time. Permafrost, Trouble in Paradise, Lady Colt, and Rory Shacktest all teaming up and forcing Ponyboy Hurtis wide to the outside. Rainier Roller Girls Rock and Rolla coming up to try and break up that pack, but now so Red Bulldozer moving in with a shoulder, screens Lady Colt to the side, but Ponyboy Hurtis not able to find an opening. And a back block for her trouble goes to Red Bulldozer. But Ponyboy Hurtis finally finds a way through the crowd of Rodeo City blockers, gets another 5. 3 scoring passes, 15 points for Rainier Roller Girls. Rodeo City Jammer Hula-C Nation now moving into the pack, looking to complete her first scoring pass, but instantly Rainier Roller Girls spring into action. Rock and Rolla, Voodoo Lady Goo Goo, holding her back, and Gunner Buns rounding out the 3-wall. But she does pick up 3 points as the jam ends. And 3 more points for Rainier Roller Girls, bringing them to 18-3.
27-44 with 160 Rainier and 90. And when we come back, that is Kel, see you later, number 500 against Damsel of Doom, D20. Damsel of Doom breaking that pack, picking up a lead jammer. Kel, see you later, having a tough time behind Bad Catitude. And Betty Ford Galaxy is that 2-wall in the front. Meanwhile, Damsel of Doom finds it clean on the outside, breaks through for 5 points the natural way. Kel, see you later is going to head to the box for a block to the head. This is a power jam for Damsel of Doom, shaking it off from C. Allison, and Demolition Dovey picks up another 5. That was not the easiest, but it was well deserved. Bulldog Nation positioning correct to let Damsel of Doom get out. And it looks like a low block being called on Damsel of Doom, so we will have a jammer switch out. See Allison heading to the box as well.
But I think Kelsey later served most of her penalties, so Damsel of Doom will be serving most of a penalty as well.
I think so, Bulldog.
Kelsey later into the pack, still on her initial pass, if I'm not mistaken.
Goes without saying, this jam will go the full 2 minutes.
Damsel of Doom was on her 3rd scoring pass, so we're waiting for the report of that score. But Kelsey later into the back on her 1st scoring pass, immediately knocked down. Gets back up. Betty Ford Galaxy's there on the outside lane. She looks for the inside lane, but gets caught by Bulldog Nation, who in turn gets clobbered by Demolition Dovey. Kelsey later, the jammer for Rodeo City, now shoveled out of bounds by a shoulder check from Bad Catitude. Has to recycle way back to turn 2. And that's enough time for Damsel of Doom to get back in. And I believe is going to complete her 3rd scoring pass for 4 more points. 14 points total for Rainier Roller Girls, 2 points for Rodeo City.
We want to remind you that Pivot Star now makes uniforms, comfortable athletic shirts that don't snag on Velcro. Try one on today at the Pivot Star booth and get entered to win $50 to spend at Pivot Star. Pivot Star, alternative athletic apparel.
And also, I apologize to the viewers at home, but we have an in-house announcement. We have a lady who has lost her credit card. And so if you find a credit card, please immediately return it to the Wild West Showdown merch booth. She is very concerned, so please, if you see a credit card that does not belong to you, and it doesn't belong to anyone else you know, then please return it to the Wild West Showdown merch booth. Thank you very much.
And Bulldog, we know that we will, because Derby people are the best people on the planet.
Oh, I have absolute confidence. A high block against Warpaint Wendy, the Rodeo City Jammer, means we have another power jam. Chick Eastwood jamming for Rainier Roller Girls. Bursts through the pack, her 1st scoring pass, and that's a grand slam. No lead jammer in this jam. So Chick Eastwood's going to go the full 2 minutes, which means that Warping Wendy will have an opportunity to get back into the game before the end of the jam. But a second Grand Slam for Rainier Roller Girls.
10 points posted so far. Chick Eastwood looking for the 15. Nice screen right there by Holly Bush, getting it nice and clear for her. Chick Eastwood picking up that 5.
Holly Bush, Charlie Horsepower, and Rock and Rolla. Shock Stopper coming out of the penalty box, and now Rainier Roller Girls have all 4 blockers on the track until I open my mouth. No, an illegal procedure against Shock Stopper. So that means she returns to the penalty box. But Chick Eastwood attempting to make the signal for calling off the jam, but she is not lead jammer. So she has to keep going. 20 points already, 4 Grand Slams, and now a wide open outside lane. Now Lucy Ballbuster was there, but she was completely wrapped up by Holly Bush and distracted from the Rainier Roller Girls jammer. Wendy Warpaint gets back in and is able to pick up 4 points. Salvage 4 points off the end of the jam, but 25 points go to Rainier Roller Girls.
And I bet you Chick Eastwood was actually happy that she didn't get that jam called off, because had she done that, that would have been an illegal procedure, and she would have headed to the box herself. It's okay to say it, but if you fool somebody, then that's a problem. Bulldog Nation, number 18, up against Hula C Nation. It is a nation of jammers, ladies and gentlemen. And Bulldog Nation picking up lead jammer.
A war of nations, but Hula C Nation, the Rodeo City jammer, going through the penalty box on a back block. So that means it's another power jam for Rainier Roller Girls, but I spoke too soon. Bulldog Nation going to the penalty box, so it's going to be a very short penalty for both jammers.
What this will be is another 2-minute jam.
That's right. Did you hear us out there? Do not try to call off the jam, because neither of you are lead jammer. Hula C Nation trying to get up the inside, but Gunner Buns catches her. Now gets her on Gunner Buns, only gets picked up by Shock Stopper, but gets a free pass at the end of the engagement zone. Bulldog Nation back in for Rainier Roller Girls, so both jammers back on the track, but Hula C Nation blasts through the pack, gets 4 points. Bulldog Nation just getting out of the pack in time. And Bulldog Nation was on a scoring pass, so it was actually matching 4-point passes, but Hula C Nation took out Bulldog Nation on her way into the pack, so she gets into the pack first. Bulldog Nation has to catch up. Great effort by Voodoo Lady Gugu, knocking down Hula C Nation, but Hula C Nation up to the front of the pack with some help from her teammates. Completes the pass for 4, 8 points total so far for Rodeo City. Bulldog Nation at the back of the pack, stuck behind Trouble and Parodies. Almost saw an opening on the outside, but Trouble and Parodies quickly covered it up. Nice screen by Shock Stopper, gets more mayhem out of the way, and Trouble and Parodies unable to stop her, and a Scarlet Revolver also involved in that play.
And we'll see how the points shake out there. Rainier did tie it up.
That was pure mayhem, but it looks like an illegal procedure call against Hula C Nation is going to send her to the penalty box, but we've got a timeout called by Rodeo City.
Timeout gives us a chance to thank Fast Girl Skates. Check them out at fastgirlskates.com. Fast Girl Skates was the first physical storefront for roller derby, specializing in roller derby equipment, and is owned and operated by Rat City Roller Girls, La Petite Mort, and Wiley Peyote. Dedicated to bringing the best service to the skating community, Fast Girl Skates offers tips, tricks for getting the most out of your gear. Check out their website for articles on everything from gear maintenance to getting faster on the track. Check them out at fastgirlskates.com. We'd also like to thank SureGrip. SureGrip is the leading manufacturer of high-end recreational roller skates and roller skate accessories. Since 1937, SureGrip has been the foremost developer in roller skates, quad skate, inline skates, derby skates, hockey skates, roller skate bearings, roller skate accessory technology, and it is made in the U.S. of A. And we are back to making roller derby happen.
That's LeGrand Mort, all about the timing.
That is what I do, Bulldog. What I do. Timing, timing, timing. Speaking of timing, Chick Eastwood's got a little bit of time as starting in a power jam position with Hula C Nation in the box.
And did you catch what that illegal procedure was about? All right, we did not see what the illegal procedure was. However, Hula C Nation starting out in the penalty. So the first full minute of this jam will be a power jam for Chick Eastwood of the Rainier Roller Girls. Chick Eastwood had to step around. She was doing a little tap dance behind the four wall of Rodeo City blockers, but was able to get through. Is lead jammer now as she hits the pack on her first scoring pass.
Rodeo City doing a great job with that positional blocking right off the front, making it not easy for Chick Eastwood, and doing it again. Everywhere Chick Eastwood wants to go, they are just covering with their body. Demolition Dovey throws a shoulder.
Ariel Payne, the last line of defense for Rodeo City. But 5 points, a grand slam for Chick Eastwood. Trouble in Paradise and Demolition Dovey moving into a two-wall at the front. Trouble in Paradise makes contact. Demolition Dovey finishes her off. Chick Eastwood knocked to the ground on the outside. But a no pass, no penalty. And in fact, no pass, no penalty on Chick Eastwood, but a penalty called on Demolition Dovey of Rodeo City. So they're going to be down 2 blockers now. Lady Colt already in the penalty box. 3-on-2 pack advantage for Rainier Roller Girls as the jam ends. Rainier coming up with 9 points, no points on that last scoring pass, and 0 points for Rodeo City.
It looks like we're going to have Hula C Nation up against Calcea later. Bad catitude, thank you. Things got stuck in brain. Amen that Bulldog is here. Oh my gosh, Bulldog love to the pivot line. Pivot line love happening right now. Bad catitude. Getting her way around the front, picking up a lead jammer.
An effort by C. Allison does not pay off. Bad catitude of Rainier able to get past her. But Kelsey later also through the pack. Both jammers completing their initial pass. And now bad catitude through the pack. Gets around C. Allison again and calls off the jam. 4 points for Rainier. 0 points for Rodeo City.
We'd like to remind you that the Salad Shack has let us feed you healthy. Fresh salad, smoked salmon, corn chowder, chili served in bread bowls, breakfast burritos, and bagels with cream cheese. Check them out at the Salad Shack if you are here. That is good food, ladies and gentlemen. That is good food.
Okay, in case you're interested, that illegal procedure against Hula C Nation earlier, 2 jams ago actually, was for leaving the penalty box early. So it was just a technical call. But now Warpaint Wendy for Rodeo City gets out of the pack first for lead jammer, but followed closely by Ponyboy Hurtis. 3-on-3 pack right now. Warpaint Wendy hits the pack first, runs into a 3-wall. Holly Bush, Charlie Horsepower, and Rock'n'Rolla slowing her down. She calls off the jam for 2 points just in time. Ponyboy Hurtis hot on her heels, but does not get in time. So a 2-0 jam for Rodeo City.
And at 16 minutes, about 50 seconds left, we are at Rainier 220, Rodeo City at 108. And when we come back, is going to be Bulldog Nation and Scarlet Revolver. Scarlet Revolver, I believe this is her first jam tonight. Bulldog Nation finds it easy on the inside. Lady Colt can't catch her. The other gun on the track, Scarlet Revolver, being heavily watched by Gunner Hands Off. There's a lot of warfare on a lot of hardware on the track right now.
Bulldog Nation gets around the outside of Lady Colt, gets clobbered by Demolition Dovey, but a high block called against Demolition Dovey. That's going to, just as they got to full strength, Demolition Dovey goes to the penalty box. So again, Rodeo City at 3 blockers on the track. Jam called off. And it looks like 1 point for Rodeo City, 4 points for Rainier.
Looks like Bulldog Nation, real trooper right there, taking that shot, able to finish it out, but she wanted to be done for a bit. Completely understandable. Hula C Nation against Red Bulldozer.
Both jammers quick off the line, looking for the outside lane. Red Bulldozer following Hula C Nation into the pack. But Hula C Nation quickly moves up to the front. Red Bulldozer sent to the penalty box on a cutting the both jammers getting a penalty. That's a cutting the track on Hula C Nation. Did not see the signal for Red Bulldozer, but they get there separately. So Red Bulldozer released almost immediately, about 3 or 4 seconds of penalty. So really not much of a power jam there. Red Bulldozer immediately hip checked out of bounds by C. Allison, has to recycle, and that allows Hula C Nation to get up to the front of the pack. Both jammers on their initial pass. Hula C Nation getting involved in a pile-up with Holly Bush. Holly Bush gets a forearm penalty, goes to the box. And Hula C Nation fends off Charlie Horsepower to complete her initial pass. Red Bulldozer knocked out of bounds by a combined effort of Lucy Ballbuster and C. Allison, still fighting her way just to get anywhere into the pack.
Right now, we have a very loose pack happening now. Star Pass, Ponyboy Hurtis taking over for Red Bulldozer, able to sneak it in on the inside.
A star pass, so now the point scorer for Rainier is Ponyboy Hurtis. Hula C Nation on her first scoring pass, but Ponyboy Hurtis catching up and zipping right through, slipping right past Hula C Nation. Red Bulldozer holding off Hula C Nation, but no pass, no penalty means that Hula C Nation does not get the jammer point. She was on a scoring pass before Red Bulldozer get past the star, so she actually got the jammer point, but lost one of the points on a no pass, no penalty. But this time is going to get all 4 points. Well, she's not in position for a Grand Slam point. Ponyboy Hurtis on her second scoring pass. Now a quick mover on the outside gets her past Repercussion and Demolition Dovey. So she matches the 4 points. And Hula C Nation does not get around for a third scoring pass, so 8-8 in that jam.
A lot of activity in that last jam right now. I think Bulldog, both of these teams are starting to get a little bit loose, and this game is getting pretty physical right now. So we're going to have to keep an eye on penalties, as should both teams, because that penalty box has not been too cold for very long.
A lot of penalties, a lot of tiny packs in this game. Warpaint Wendy jamming for Rodeo City in the purple. Rainier Roller Girls in the red, fielding Bad Catitude. Both jammers getting tangled up. Gunner Buns with a huge shoulder check takes down Warpaint Wendy, but Warpaint Wendy recovering quickly and gets out of the pack. But Bad Catitude got out first and got lead jammer. The pack stopped going into turn one. Bad Catitude trying to squeeze up the center, inside center line, and manages to do so. But Warpaint Wendy able to get through as well. She got tangled up in turn two with Voodoo Lady Gugu and Gunner Buns, but picks herself back up, gets 4. Here comes Bad Catitude fighting her way through, gets 4 points, and right behind her, Warpaint Wendy doing the same thing, squeezes right between Gunner Buns and Voodoo Lady Gugu to get through, matches those 4 points. So 8-8 so far. Bad Catitude on her third scoring pass. Warpaint Wendy catches up and runs into Voodoo Lady Gugu and Gunner Buns. Now Rock and Roll Chola getting in the way, and that ends the jam. No points scored by Rodeo City in that last scoring pass.
I'd like to give a shout out to Crazy Skates. They can be found at crazyskateco.com. Crazy Skates, skaters are our lifeblood, so it stands to reason that we build our products around their requirements. We are here to help. We look forward to being of service to the skating industry at large. Check them out at crazyskates.com. Also, check out the merch over there at the merch booth. If you're here at Wild West, you want to prove it, so go get yourself some merch over there near the front door.
Bad Catitude did pick up 1 more point on her third scoring pass, so it was a 9-8 jam previously in favor of Rainier Valley. Rainier Roller Girls, excuse me. They're located in Rainier Valley, I believe.
Hometown's at White Center, but we're close. We're close.
Chick Eastwood jamming for Rainier Roller Girls. Kelsey Later jamming for Rodeo City. Rodeo City in the purple, Rainier Roller Girls in the red, and Chick Eastwood, the Rainier jammer, gets a forearm penalty. And it's going to be a power jam for Kelsey Later of Rodeo City, who fights her way past Shock Stopper to get lead jammer. A 4-on-4 pack right now.
Such a physical game that's happening right now in the second half of this second period, right? Both teams skating fast, hitting really, really hard. We're seeing lots of huge hits.
And a matching forearm penalty against the Rodeo City jammer, Kelsey Later. So we'll have a jammer swap out as soon as Kelsey Later gets to the penalty box. But I think that's going to be close to a 40-second penalty for the Rodeo City jammer as Chick Eastwood comes into play. Still on her initial pass, if I'm not mistaken. And there it is. No, fights her way, gets around Ariel Payne, who stumbles. Pack still stuck, right going into turn 1, right on the pivot line. Chick Eastwood gets around the rear guard on the inside lane, but runs into Trouble and Parodies, and C. Allison whiffs with a shoulder check, and Trouble and Parodies going to the penalty box for Rodeo City. And that allows Chick Eastwood of Rainier to get through for a grand slam. Kelsey Later's out of the penalty box into the pack and picks up 4.
Also here at this tournament is the Smack Shack at the smackshack.net. The Smack Shack is Tacoma's full roller derby retail store located on Mildred. The Smack Shack offers a wide array of products from skates to clothing. The Smack Shack has it all. They also offer skate repair and wheel regrouping. Check out their products page to take a look for yourself at some of the items they offer. It's the smackshack.net.
Scarlet Revolver jamming for Rodeo City, but Damsel of Doom jamming for Rainier gets through for lead jammer. Very quickly, I think all attention was on Scarlet Revolver. Here's Damsel of Doom on her first scoring pass. Hula C Nation trying to reel her in, but can't catch her. Grand slam to Rainier. Scarlet Revolver knocked down, and Betty Ford Galaxy standing over her like Gandalf at the pass. Knocking her down repeatedly. Just the nemesis of Scarlet Revolver. Betty Ford Galaxy everywhere on the track at once. Damsel of Doom coming around. Now a third scoring pass. 2 grand slams, and there's a third one. A hat trick of grand slams. And a almost wide open inside lane. Repercussion. Able to make a glancing contact with a hip check, but did not slow down Damsel of Doom. 20 points so far for Rainier. Gets knocked down going in for her 5th scoring pass.
And a low block being called on Scarlet Revolver, so we're going to have a jammer hokey pokey switch out. You put one jammer and you take one jammer out. That is Damsel of Doom back at it. Going to pick up some hits from Lady Colt, and Trouble in Paradise taking her out in between turn 3 and 4. Meanwhile, Scarlet Revolver trying to get around Gunner Hands Off and Voodoo Lady Goo. Hula C Nation going up against Voodoo. Stop block being called on Voodoo Lady Goo.
4 points picked up by Rainier on that last scoring pass, giving him 24 points. No points for Rodeo City.
Hey, if you're over 21, head on up to the beer garden. Say hi to the boys from Toad House Pizza. While you're there, it wouldn't hurt to enjoy one of the beers on tap right now. Toad House Pizza and Beer Garden with lots of fine beer and pizza. That is Charlie Horsepower.
Warpaint Wendy gets out first for lead jammer. Charlie Horsepower making her debut as jammer for Rainier Roller Girls.
Thank you, that's what I meant to say.
Warpaint Wendy and Charlie Horsepower both on their first scoring pass, but Rock and Rolla taking down Warpaint Wendy. Warpaint Wendy calls off the jam for 3. Charlie Horsepower just coming up short. No points for Rainier Roller Girls.
Right now, as the time ticks down, about 5 minutes and 35 seconds, 271 Rainier, 132 Rodeo City. Very physical game so far. Betty Ford Galaxy just in time to put the pivot stripe on her helmet. Bad Catitude. She's up against Kelsey later.
Kelsey later looking for the outside lane, but moving up the inside. Bad Catitude clinches lead jammer. Gunnar Buns and Betty Ford Galaxy teaming up to stop Kelsey later. Kelsey later leaning into those shoulders, and now Betty Ford Galaxy loses her footing, and that allows Kelsey later to get through. Gunnar Buns is not going to let it off easy, though. Fights until the very last second. Bad Catitude completes her first scoring pass for Rainier, picks up 4, and calls off the jam.
Fingers Duke at fingersduke.com. Fingers Duke is more than your average screen printing company. They're a collection of awesome creative personalities working together. They utilize their diverse selection of talented professional artists, designers, and illustrators to provide the best and most original cutting-edge solutions for their clients' needs. When we come back, that's Lady Colt, number 45 for Rodeo City against Ponyboy Hurtis, 1964 for Rainier.
Lady Colt, I believe, jamming for the first time for Rodeo City. Might be her second time, but gets up to the front. Rock and Rolla and Red Bulldozer forming a 2-wall. Lady Colt ricochets off a shoulder check from Rock and Rolla, sends her out of bounds. Has to recycle to the back of the pack, still forging ahead. This time gets around Rock and Rolla Chola and slips between Shock Stopper and Red Bulldozer to complete her initial pass and get lead jammer. Ponyboy Hurtis of Rainier Roller Girls fighting ahead, but Hulassi Nation catches her on point. Hulassi, trying to pull her back in, but Ponyboy Hurtis is through. But here comes Lady Colt, the Rodeo City jammer, just slips right through the pack, almost untouched. 4 points for Rodeo City, and the jam is called off.
Washington Health Plan Finder at wahealthplanfinder.org. Washington Health Plan Finder, a new way to help you find, compare, and select quality health insurance plan that is right for you, your family, and your budget. If you're in this game, you may need it. Damsel of Doom against Warpaint Wendy. Damsel of Doom came in stereo. But it's Warpaint Wendy that is fighting up against Betty Ford Galaxy and just gets her in the end.
But goes to the penalty box. Betty Ford Galaxy going to serve a minute. Warpaint Wendy is lead jammer for Rodeo City. Damsel of Doom looking for the outside lane. See, Allison was there, but got sent to the penalty box before she had a chance to even do anything. So Damsel of Doom found an opening. All right, 4 points picked up by Rodeo City at the end of the jam. I believe Rodeo City called off the jam.
And at just about 2 minutes left in the game is 275 Rainier Roller Girls, 140 Rodeo City. Chick Eastwood, number 44, up against Kelsey Later, 500 for Rainier and Rodeo City, respectively.
3-on-3 pack, one blocker down on each team. Kelsey Later is brought up short on the outside, but slips through on the inside. Lead jammer goes to Rodeo City, but Chick Eastwood finding a very wide lane on the outside, and now catches up to Kelsey Later. Kelsey Later looks over her shoulder, tries to dig her shoulder, and almost sends Chick Eastwood sliding into the penalty box. But now both jammers on their first scoring pass. Chick Eastwood repelled by more mayhem, forced out of bounds. Rear guard repercussion and more mayhem, holding off Chick Eastwood. Kelsey Later gets through the pack and calls off the jam, but only 2 out of potential 4 points, whereas 3 points picked up by Chick Eastwood. So 3-2 for Rainier.
When we come back, that is Warpaint Wendy, 27, Bulldog Nation, number 18.
3-on-2 pack in favor of Rainier Roller Girls. Bulldog Nation finds the inside lane. Trouble in Paradise almost cut her off, but I don't think she even saw her. I think she was just moving into that position. She was focused on her own jammer, the Rodeo City jammer, Warpaint Wendy, who does get through the pack, but Bulldog Nation in control of the clock with lead jammer. See, Allison coming back in, almost gets in position on Bulldog Nation, but Bulldog Nation's able to zip through, calls off the jam for 4.
See Allison going to the box for illegal procedure coming up in front of the pack, I believe. And as the clock winds down, we are in an unofficial. I just want to thank our featured charity, Sally Santana Funds for the Homelessness, is the voice of the homeless in Kitsap County. Sally Santana is known in the community for her faith and values column that ran in the Kitsap Sun every Saturday and for the volunteer work she did, primarily in the areas of homeless. Please check out the booth set up right here in this venue to help find out what you could do to help those less fortunate. Just while the folks have gotten themselves going now, we will wait for the official score tally, but I feel very confident that we can call the winner of this game from White Center, the birthplace of Northwest Roller Derby. Please give it up for the Rainier Roller Girls! And all the way from Ellensburg, Washington, they sure do know how to throw a hoedown. Give it up for Rodeo City Roller Girls!